This is my review of White Lotus Season 1 Episode 2. Now, in the previous episode, we saw the three groups heading to the island and them just interacting with each other. The family that came, the honeymoon couple, and the lady that came by herself. Now, in the first episode, we saw in the beginning that apparently someone died on the island, and that seemed like something that was going to happen immediately, or at least we'll get a clue of what happens immediately, but it didn't happen in that episode, and I was hoping that we could get some more information on what would happen in this episode, but unfortunately we don't get that here. We just see somewhat some things happening similarly to what happened in the first episode, but a little different, I guess. So anyway, we don't see that, but let's get to the rest of the story. Now, in the previous episode, the family that came, now the husband for the family, and now he had a bit of a health scare, and he was worried about if something was wrong with him. But in the beginning of this episode, we find out that a doctor calls him and tells him that everything's all right. So we see him being all grateful and being so loving and attached to his family members because he's perfectly healthy, and he was afraid that he was going to die because his father died like that too. So we see that him trying to bond with his family and all that, and being just grateful for life and all. And then we see his daughter and her friend just sitting around using illegal substances. And that just happens somewhere on the side. And then after that we get to the married couple. Now, the married couple in the previous episode, the husband was really mad that their room got messed up. Because this wasn't the room they were supposed to get, and he was really determined to get the room. And the guy also, I think, was running the hotel. He kept telling them he was wrong, and there wasn't any mix-up. And we see that play out again in this episode, where he actually confirms that he was supposed to get another room, and then he converts the guy, and the guy somewhat accepts that it was his mistake and tries to make up for it, but he cannot get in the room because another family is staying in there or whatever. So yeah, that's what happens there. And then we have a side story about his wife. Now, his wife, apparently, she was working a job as a journalist, I think. She was writing small pieces, and now that she's married to a guy who's really rich, she's kind of worried about what her future is going to look like. Now, whether she'll be able to continue doing her job, whether she should try and keep doing her job, or just stop and just go along with his family and maybe do something with him, or just be a stay-at-home wife. So she's trying to figure out what she wants to do, and in the middle of that, she goes and interacts with the mother from the family that came. And now that woman's apparently the head of a company, head of a search company, I think. So she knows about her, and so she goes to talk to her, and they talk about job and balancing life and all that, and what she should focus on. And at the end, it seemed like a nice interaction, but then the woman finds out that the girl actually wrote a piece about her, and it came out really negatively in her eyes, and they kind of ended in the conversation in an awkward moment. So yeah, we see a somewhat small tension between those two groups because of that. Well, just the woman and the girl, but still. So we see a small connection there. And then there's the lady that came by herself with her mother's ashes. Now, she decides that she wants to have dinner with one of the staff at the hotel, and she insists on it. Now, I really don't understand what her role is in this series so far. It's a bit confusing. Cannot really understand where she's coming from. She seems a little out of place and all that. But yeah, we see her having dinner with one of the staff, and then we see that her going and talking to the daughter and a friend from the family, and as they talk, they suddenly get up and walk away because they were using substances and all that, and they forgot to take the bag which has the stuff in it. And so she ends up taking the bag and giving it to the hotel, the guy who runs the hotel. And sorry, not the guy who runs the hotel, someone else. And then the guy who runs the hotel gets the bag, and he finds all the stuff inside that the girls are using. And yeah, that seems normal enough. Oh yeah, and there was a woman that went into labor and I think had a child in the previous episode. We don't really see or hear anything about her after that. I'm not sure if she was just a one episode story or something, but yeah. So we don't hear anything about her. And then at the end of it, we see all the groups having dinner outside the hotel, and them all talking about different things. And then the daughter of the family that came decides to go and try to find the bag, and she asked the guy who was running the hotel if he found a bag, and he says he didn't, and he lies. It just seems a little strange because he did. So then, yeah, they just go about their things, and it's finally the end of the night. Now, the guy who had a health scare earlier finds out that his dad didn't die of the same disease. He died of something else, and the guy's left in shock. And that's where their storyline ends. And then we see his son just going outside, sitting on the beach, and you see, I think, whales or something, the tails of some fish in the ocean. So he's just sitting there looking at that. And oh yeah, before that, the honeymoon couple, the girl was arguing with her husband about her still wanting to work, and him saying couldn't wait till the honeymoon is over and all that. And they have a small fight, but they make up in the end. She says she won't work until the honeymoon's over. So yeah, all things considering, this episode ended pretty quietly. Nothing really big except for the news about the man's dad. But yeah, that seems to be the end of the episode, and we still don't have a clue about who dies or why they die or any build up to that. So I really think we needed that, but yeah, I guess we're gonna have to wait till the next episode for that. So yeah, that's my review of the second episode of White Lotus season 1.